This is Jordan's Vision. Pull up a seat and kick up your feet. Welcome, guys. How we doing? Time for another Beyond Belief Factor Fiction reaction. This is Season 4, Episode 6 that we are on now, and last time, kind of had a rough one. My second 0 out of 5 out of the whole series. Prior to last episode, I was up to 14 out of 20, and now I'm up to 14 out of 25. If you do the math, 14 out of 20 is 70%, 14 out of 25 is 56%, so kind of sounds like a big drop, you know. I was off pretty above average to start the season, but now I've kind of fallen down to earth a little bit with that 0. So hopefully this episode I do better. I mean, you can't do much worse, really. And, you know, if I get 2 zeros in a row, I'll probably be the unluckiest person on the planet. So without further ado, here is Beyond Belief Factor Fiction, Season 4, Episode 6. Before we get started, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and don't forget, reacting to art is sharing art. Channels like these benefit everyone from the viewers all the way up to the original creators themselves. Also, a reminder, spoilers are likely, so if you haven't seen this episode yet and would like to, please feel free to click off and take care of that first. I'll be here when you get back. But for those of you who are sticking with me, pull up a seat, kick up your feet. This is Beyond Belief Factor Fiction, Season 4, Episode 6. Here we go. Better than 0. Let's do it.
Observe this scale model of an ambulance. It appears to be a detailed, three-dimensional object. You can see, it has no depth at all. With our stories,
that's crazy.
For those of us who don't travel with personal bodyguards,
almost
a variety
everyone.
of gadgets designed for our protection. Portable sirens, panic alarms, pepper sprays.
All right.
I had been extremely nervous about leaving my home in Steubenville, Ohio, and traveling to the East Coast for college.
Going out
But
of
as
state,
nervous
eh?
as I was, my parents were much worse.
I know that feeling.
I was there to
It's amazing getting that first taste of freedom, you know?
Something about it.
Oh.
Hey, Mom? Yeah, I gotta go. Someone's at the door.
Oh, I have a bad feeling. Please say who is it first.
John,
okay.
hi.
Did you hear about the campus alert?
No? What alert?
Oh?
There's a stalker. He attacked some girl from Palmer Hall last night.
I'm glad that wasn't the stalker, but yeah.
The campus police are warning everybody not to be out alone after dark. The residence assistants are handing out these air horns and cans of mace to everyone. I've got a
Hopefully you don't have to use those.
tomorrow. Don't forget to lock your doors.
I won't. Thanks.
You will because it's a TV show. Okay. At least not that time.
I had a paper due the next morning, and I needed to do some research at the computer lab. That night, I got into a zone with my school paper. I would look up what I needed for notes, and then the words and thoughts seemed to flow together so easily.
It's great when they just flow like that and you don't have to really think too hard.
3 hours went by. I was so caught up in my project that I didn't even notice the time and that everyone had left.
Is it even still open? You think they tell everyone to leave after a while.
I had this feeling that someone's watching me from the bushes. I felt an overwhelming urge to run.
Oh, hey. Yeah. Spray that.
I had no idea how to defend myself. I was gonna die.
He doesn't even have a weapon.
The strangest thing happened.
Oh. What?
I told you not to fight me.
Yeah, you got nothing. She's fighting you. Wow. Did the room somehow cosmically make her a karate expert?
They couldn't believe that a small woman like me could have overpowered him. I told them I used karate. They asked me where I learned it. I said I never did, but for some reason I just knew all the moves.
Are we gonna get an explanation for that?
Can I help you?
I'm sorry. My name is Margaret Walker. This used to be my daughter Trisha's room when she was a student here.
A little strange, but
Thank you.
maybe she has memories in this room. I don't know.
Trisha was killed in a car accident last spring.
I didn't know. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I wonder.
It took me a long time to find the courage to come back here again.
Some of her stuff's still here?
I loved this.
I feel something special here.
Yeah.
That's
I
good.
wonder if Trisha's part of that. Maybe it's
What kind
Trisha
of
who knew
person was
karate.
Trisha?
She was smart, beautiful, natural athlete.
Natural athlete, yeah. Just like we saw last night.
By any chance, did she know karate?
Trisha was a black belt.
Yeah, she was a black belt.
How did you know?
No reason.
Just a guess.
Yeah. Pretty good guess.
How else could she take down a man twice her size? Or was it Sandy's will to survive that gave her the unexpected strength and skill to overwhelm her attacker?
If this
All right,
story
let's talk
is
about
true
that.
or false at the end of our show.
So basically, she moves into a new room. She finds out, there's a stalker around the campus. She goes to study, stays out late, and walks home and gets attacked by the stalker, and somehow is able to overpower him. I guess it's possible, in the rush of adrenaline, that maybe, she could overpower someone like that. And it didn't look like he had a weapon. He said he was going to kill her, but I didn't see what he was going to do it with, really. So it ended up working, and they ended up catching the guy. So, and then she finds out that this girl who used to be in her room, when her mom pays a visit, she finds out that this girl knew karate. And I guess, well, let's get one thing out of the way. I don't think, a ghost, taught this girl karate moves or anything like that. But other than that, it's just a pretty basic story about, a girl getting attacked and protecting herself, Yeah. And maybe the previous owner of the room is kind of an accessory to that story. But other than that, it's a pretty basic story, and I don't really see any reason not to believe it. So I think I'm going to mark this one as true. Pretty easy one down, I think. Let's get to the next one.
The active mind of a child.
Oh, yeah. I remember
These
those.
things are designed to keep it busy.
Doctor's office is full of them.
Even the great Einstein was never able to unlock the secrets found within the thoughts of children.
Yeah. Who
Tanya
is?
Skinner.
I love
right.
my little granddaughter, Tanya. She was the best thing that ever happened
Aw,
to me.
cute little baby.
I know that.
Oh, I don't believe this. Where did I put her toothbrush?
Looks
Maybe in
right
the
there. on
bathroom with all the others?
Oh, my head. Everything aches.
Oh, don't go back to bed. I can take it from here.
Yeah. Let
Thanks,
Grandma
Mom.
take over.
To be with my Tanya. And she loves to be with her grandma, don't you, Tanya?
You gotta love grandmas.
Tanya still didn't talk very much, but I knew she loved garage sales. And as usual, there was one going on in Marcus Tweed's driveway.
Is that
I
your
don't have enough stuff to have a garage sale every week.
Looks like she found something.
Oh, no, sweetheart. No, you have to put that back. Oh, you want to keep it?
Oh, how much for
All
that?
right, how much?
$5.
I'll give you 50 cents.
Sold.
Drives a hard bargain. I used to have chalkboards like that as a kid,
Have your
too.
favorite cartoon on TV right now. You want to watch?
It's like a new video game to her.
I couldn't help but think she wasn't acting like her usual self. She seemed removed and distant.
Yeah, what's going on?
Even though Tanya wasn't hungry, I fixed her a sandwich anyway. She was totally wrapped up in her chalkboard.
New toy, you never get
Every time I
tired of
tried
it.
To take it away, she'd have a fit.
Oh,
So
no.
I figured I'd just let her play herself out with it.
I've made you something to eat.
Gonna be playing on the chalkboard for the next 12 hours.
But then I took a closer look and I got the shock of my life.
Oh.
Tanya, where did you learn how to write that?
Right, what?
That-
It's not a swear word, is it?
Inside all those lines and circles were the words, "Save Mommy."
Save Mommy.
Couldn't believe my eyes. Then my mother's instinct took hold.
Yeah, Mom is sick, so maybe check on her.
I left Tanya with a neighbor. I felt like I was acting crazy, but I had to find out if Dawn was okay.
I mean, it's probably not that crazy if she's not answering the phone.
As soon as I was inside, I smelled the gas.
Oh,
It
gas.
was so heavy, I breathed.
Oh, yikes. Gas leak. Oh, wake up, wake up. Okay, good.
Where's Tanya?
Oh, she's all right, honey. She's safe.
Good thing she wasn't in the house.
If it weren't for Tanya and that 50-cent chalkboard, I never would have gotten there, and my daughter would have died. To this day, I haven't been able to figure out how Tanya was able to write those words, "Save Mommy."
Yeah, interesting.
Could it be the phenomenon called automatic writing, where a person could actually channel someone else's thoughts? If so, who
I
was
wonder.
on the channel?
Little girl spending time with her grandma while her mom is sick. Goes to a garage sale, picks up a cheap chalkboard, starts scribbling on it, and grandma looks at the chalkboard and sees "Save Mommy" written on there. And apparently she can't write yet, or doesn't know how to spell, or doesn't know maybe what those words mean. But somehow, Mommy needed saving because, grandma checked it out and there was a gas leak. So maybe if it wasn't a little child who didn't really speak and didn't really know how to read or write, like if it was like a little girl or like a teenager, because, a teenager, even if they can't talk, they can understand and they can probably write. So maybe if a teenager got a feeling like that something was wrong with Mom, they could write something down. But a little girl, I have a little harder time believing that. Like, I do know that, people maybe sometimes get psychic messages and, they have a feeling that something's wrong. But for a little girl who can't even speak to communicate something like that, that's a little hard for me to believe. And it just kind of sounds to me like something that was written. So I don't know. I think that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to mark story number 2 as fiction. It's the kind of story, too, that I could see maybe being true, you know, maybe with a few adjustments, but right now, it just sounds like something somebody made up, so that's what I'm going to go with. So let's get to story number 3.
Wasn't it Mark Twain who told us that everyone talks about the weather, but nobody ever does anything about it?
What can you do, though?
Today's weather has become not only predictable, but highly profitable. Brent Philly is a popular, well-paid local weatherman. His nightly
Weathermen are
reports
kind
made him
of
famous.
local celebrities, you know?
Storm.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what can I say? That was another encore presentation of absolutely beautiful, stunning Southern California weather today, wasn't it? And look
Southern California, gotta love their weather.
Anyway, looking ahead now to our 5-day forecast, we can see that we can expect pretty much more of the same.
More sun in California, no surprise there.
Well, that's a look at your weather now here in beautiful Southern California. But if you'd like to know more about the weather, or perhaps even the Brent Philly Celebrity Golf Tournament, why don't you...
Free commercial.
Brent loved being in the public eye, but there were two different Brent Phillys.
Right.
The one the public saw and the real one.
Ain't it always that way?
No, people are watching this newscast because of me, not that has-been George Jean. The guy can't even read copy.
Not a fan of his coworkers.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, Mark, catch my weather? Felt really good today.
Yeah, come on in.
Can't be that hard to predict Southern California weather.
I just got the latest numbers, and they're down again.
Down again? I know what that is. It's George. You got
Blaming the anchor.
He's old news, and he's killing my viewer base.
Your viewer
People
base.
just don't...
Actually, Brent, we did a focus group, and George is
really?
the problem. It's your weather reports.
He's just a weatherman, man.
They're boring and always the same.
Well, what do these idiots expect?
What do you expect,
The
though?
weather never changes. I mean, come on, what is that, my fault now? If these people want more exciting weather, why don't they move to Minnesota?
Good
Okay?
point.
I mean, we got sweeps starting next week. If the numbers don't go up, I've been instructed to let you go.
Yeah, make up better weather.
Come on, man, I'd be ruined. I'd be finished all over town.
I'm sorry, Brent. That's...
If the guy's not all this popular, why does he have a celebrity golf tournament? I mean, you have to have some level of popularity to have one of those, right?
He wasn't going to lose his job without a fight.
Well, now it's time for our weather. Here's our resident meteorologist, Brent Philly.
This
Well,
is
Brent,
good.
what's in store for us today?
Pay no attention to the map behind me, because it is dead wrong. There's been
Okay.
a sudden, and I am predicting a massive tropical storm is going to sweep through the greater Los Angeles basin tonight. Down.
Let me guess, he's making it up, but it's gonna happen.
Until your next update, right here. It's back to you, George.
Golf tournament might get rained out.
The phones at the station rang off the hook the next day when the storm failed to appear. But Brent had a ready explanation for that.
Because there was no tropical storm. That massive front we were experiencing broke up into smaller pieces.
Wearing a raincoat
and blew
inside?
out over. We are not going to escape the tornadoes that are coming.
Okay, now there's tornadoes.
They are going to...
Weatherman Brent Philly continued making wild predictions, followed by explanations of why they didn't come true.
It's creative, I'll give him that.
Tornadoes piggybacking their way through the greater Los Angeles basin, accompanied by hurricane force winds.
Tornadoes and hurricanes together?
You heard it first here on the Philly forecast. George?
Wow. Brent, thank you for that warning.
R.I.P. integrity, eh?
Well,
More and more people were watching his weather reports, and they didn't care if he was right or wrong.
Great. Good. I've never...
As long as the viewers are happy, right?
Unbelievable. I mean, people are stealing my garbage. I'm like a prophet or something.
Except a prophet that's never right.
Mr. Philly?
No autographs, but if you speak...
No, I don't want your autograph. You should be in jail. My father heard your forecast about tornadoes hitting LA.
Yeah?
Yeah?
He went outside to weatherproof the house, and he had a heart attack and died. You killed him!
Maybe indirectly, but...
Tragedy struck one of our own today. Popular 34-year-old weatherman Brent
what
Philly
happened?
died on his way home in a freak accident. According to eyewitness accounts, a small but powerful tornado touched down.
Tornado?
And Philly
I guess he was
Philly
right about
died
that
on
one.
impact. There were no predictions of a tornado from any of the local weather forecasts, except for one, and that came from our own Brent Philly. To you, George.
Predicted his own death.
Did his outrageous predictions actually come true? Or had he angered the fates once too often?
Yeah, maybe that's
How
it.
reliable did the family of the man who died weatherproofing his home have something to do with it?
Yeah.
Would they have tampered with Brent's car?
Guess that's
This
possible
story
too.
seems-
So weatherman, predicts the weather in California, which is usually the same, and gets accused by his bosses of, and I guess his viewers of being boring. He tries to spice it up by making up the weather, which the integrity is lacking, but, you know, ratings are ratings, I guess. I don't know if any self-respecting news report would keep a guy on who was just making the weather up like that, but I guess if they want ratings, though, whatever floats their boat. And then, you know, he gets a visit from someone whose dad died while he was weatherproofing their house because he heard about the tornado. And I mean, you know, if you've been watching the guy, you'd think maybe the guy doesn't know the actual weather. And then as he left the studio that night, he died because a tornado picked him up. A tornado that he predicted and pretty much made up, but then it came true. Knowing all of that, you know, and it's a lot to take in. I think parts of it could have happened, obviously. Like, again, I don't know what kind of newscast would keep someone on who was just constantly making up the weather, but you'd think integrity would kind of prevail over ratings, but I guess you never know with some stations. I'm kind of flip-flopping on this one a lot. Because I wouldn't put it past, you know, some weatherman to do something like that, you know, if they were threatened with losing their job. Yeah, predicting a tornado, Then again, sometimes tornadoes show up when you don't expect them to, right? Because, you know, as far as weather goes, tornadoes are like the hardest things to predict. Like, you can predict a storm or whatever, but you never really know when a storm might actually spawn into a tornado. I was kind of 60-40 on the fiction side, and now I'm kind of 60-40 on the nonfiction side. This is one I might take a chance on and call it true. Don't let me down, weatherman. All right, story number 4.
Thank you very much. You know, funny thing happened to me on the way to the studio tonight. Did I say funny? Actually, it was beyond belief. I'll be here.
Dad jokes.
The life of a stand-up comedian. Combination of laughter, adrenaline, and a lot of sweat.
It's a really long road to be successful as one, right?
Vacation? Hey, if I start melting, you should have taken the blue ones, huh?
Don't get it.
Hey,
Neither
don't
does
be
anyone
afraid
else.
to laugh, lady. It's called comedy. You just open your mouth and let something come out, preferably something that isn't a belch, you know?
Okay, that was a little
Why
funny.
did the chicken cross the road? Huh? Shut up! I love that one. It kills me every time. I'm
Really?
like a Nick Royce, my manager, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody, give him a hand out, will you? Oh, sorry,
Okay.
Nick. I mean,
Manager gets a few claps.
And that's me.
Oh.
Somebody put water in my water. Hey, Nick, you're fired.
Well, I'll be unemployed, but at least I'll be dry.
Yeah.
The manager's funnier than he is.
I had always loved stand-up comics, and people always told me I was funny, but I never had the guts to get up there myself.
Go do it.
At this point,
She's on her knees as a church, and I think she's an atheist.
Not supposed to laugh at your own jokes, buddy. I mean, I do it, but I'm not a
If you're drinking
professional.
a little bit, then you're driving home, drive safely, because I'll be walking around out there, that's why.
May not be the best incentive.
Joe wasn't making it yet, but I believe that all he needed was the right material, and he'd be on his way.
Does he even have material? Sounded like he was just riffing.
Hey, how you doing, baby? Dollface. Yeah, you.
Your act's over, buddy.
Even less funny here.
Hey, shut
Yeah,
up,
exactly.
Grandpa.
Oh, hey.
Guys. I can take care of myself, Nick.
I'm sorry, Joey.
Apparently you can't.
Joe Ace Grant.
Hey, no autographs, huh?
You'd have to pay me to take an autograph from this guy.
I caught your act. I think you're great.
Oh, well, congratulations. You got good taste.
Were you awake for it?
You're mean, and you've got attitude.
Yeah.
That's what's selling today.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have
in
you
some
ever
cases
figured
it
out
is what's selling.
Is he really a manager? Or is he just your water boy?
He's just my water boy.
Don't waste
So if he takes this guy on as manager, does Nick get to keep being his water boy?
I want a release from my contract.
I can't believe I'm hearing this. You, Joey.
You should be thrilled that this guy wants out.
But you're a loser, Nick. Don't you see it? And if I hang with yous, that makes me a loser too.
Projecting.
Look, I want a release from...
Joe was really worked up, but I thought eventually he'd come to his senses. He always did.
Not this time. Oh, hey.
Oh, that's just what I need.
Insult to injury.
My left leg was so badly mangled from the accident that complications set in and the doctors had to amputate.
Oh, no, that sucks.
I chose to call it an accident because I refused to believe that Joe would do what he did on purpose.
Way too generous of you, buddy.
I know this is like, a bad time or whatever.
I mean, probably.
I really need that release.
That's why you came here?
I hope it's not the only reason.
Hey, I'll buy your leg or something, huh?
Oh. Yeah, you're gross.
What about the release?
You can have 10 releases. I want you out of my life for good. I was always funnier than you. You could have been something.
Not wrong.
You can be a sit-down comic.
Sit-down comic. It was sarcastic, but he probably could.
After losing my leg, I finally found the nerve to face an audience. I started doing jokes from the perspective of a man in a wheelchair. It caught on, and the club started to book me.
Maybe it's a little gimmicky, but the guy is funny.
I had come back to do a quick benefit at the Grove, the club where it all began. But what happened next was the last thing I would have ever expected.
Oh, give you 3 guesses. Yep.
What happened to you? I had to get out of the business, you know.
I mean, you weren't very good at it.
Every time I'd get on stage, I'd start to get this really bad pain in my left leg, you know.
Oh, the leg that Nick
I couldn't
lost.
think straight, you know, let alone tell a joke, you know, so.
I mean, you couldn't tell a joke before.
That pain he had in his leg was a blood clot.
Okay.
3 months later, he had to have it amputated.
Wow. So they
What
both.
an ironic one man loses a leg and finds his courage, while the other loses his courage and then his leg. Did overwhelming
Cosmic.
guilt produce the blood clot in Joe's leg? Or was it coincidence? Or was he being punished by the gods of comedy? In analyzing
If I was a god of comedy,
appear to be a
I
fable.
would. So basically, a comic who is very bad has a manager who is a better comic than he is. You know, tries to get out of his contract because he thinks he found a better manager. And then going away, runs him over, and his manager loses his leg. You know, he gets this idea from Joe, ironically enough, to be a sit-down comic. And then going back to where he originally managed, he meets Joe, and Joe basically says, I had to get out of the business because, you know, whenever I tell a joke, I get this pain in my leg, you know, the same leg that Nick lost. And it turned out that the pain in his leg was a blood clot, and he had to have his leg amputated. So a lot of coincidence in this one, like a lot of coincidence. So what do I think? I know that, like, not every stand-up comic gets famous, but I've never really heard of a stand-up comic that was an amputee. I'm sure there is one. Like, I don't really watch shows like Last Comic Standing or anything like that, or even like Just for Laughs. I don't make it a point to tune into those shows. Sometimes I watch them when they're on, but I haven't heard of a comic that was an amputee. Maybe it was a good chance for the writers of this show to, you know, exercise their comedy chops a little bit, but like within the realm of the mind, it may be possible, but it's just a lot to happen at the same time. I'm going to mark this one as fiction. So we got 2 of each, and we got 1 more before we get our answers. So let's check this last one out.
Front.
Ding.
There's nothing more reassuring than a friendly, efficient hotel clerk. Somebody who has your reservation, quickly provides your accommodation without a hitch. Then there's the other experience. Your reservation's lost, the clerk is arrogant, your trip becomes a nightmare.
Yeah, I've seen both.
Rena Dunn is about to check into a highly rated hotel. And before she's through, she'll not only question the hotel's service, she'll question her own sanity.
Give that hotel a 1 star.
I'm sorry, Miss Dunn, you're not in the computer.
How can this be? I booked these reservations 3 months ago. Confirmation
Did he get
number.
bumped? It's not really the age of online booking yet, so maybe something wrong over the phone.
I feel got such a headache and my neck is so stiff.
You go sit down and rest.
The mom's a little sick too. They need to get in somewhere.
I'm sorry, we have no rooms. There's a convention in town and we're fully booked. In fact, every hotel in town is booked.
Unlucky, eh?
Listen, my mother is not feeling well, and unless you want a lawsuit on your hands, I suggest you find us another room right now.
Might have to be the janitor's closet, but...
We just had a cancellation.
Oh, really?
I can put you in room 245. It has a king-size bed.
Yeah, just 1 bed?
My mother's condition was getting worse by the minute. I didn't know what was happening, and I was scared for her.
Maybe we should get her the doctor. Maybe forget the hotel room.
Where am I? What am I doing in this room? Where's Rena?
She doesn't remember? Wait. She wigging out?
Can I get a doctor, please, to room 245? As soon as possible, please.
Do hotels have doctors on hand?
I'm going to prescribe an antibiotic. It's late, but there's an all-night pharmacy that can fill it for you.
Thank you, Dr. Hall. I hated leaving my mother alone, but I had no choice.
Yeah, especially now.
I needed change for the cab, so I put the prescription bag down on the counter while Mintz broke a 50 for me.
Oh, don't let that out of your sight. Oh, don't tell me you're going to steal a medicine.
Where's the prescription bag I just left here?
I'm not sure I understand.
Why'd you leave it
I
there?
just left it.
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about.
Strike 2, buddy. Strike 2.
It was medicine for my mother. We're in room 245. She's very ill, and I need that medicine.
No, I'm sorry, that room is unoccupied.
Unoccupied? What?
My mother is very sick.
Ma'am, keep your voice down. You're upsetting the guests.
You got an upset guest in front of you, though.
There are many hotels in town. Perhaps you're just confused.
I I am not confused.
Ooh.
Listen to me, Mr.
No, I'm
Mintz.
confused.
I don't know. Dr. Hall, would you please explain to this man that you examined my mother up in room 245?
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about.
The doctor, too?
You prescribed an antibiotic for her.
You must be confusing me with someone else. I've never seen you before in my life.
I thought I was losing my
Yikes.
mind.
I'm
Nothing
losing
was
my
making
mind.
sense.
All right. I'll take you to the room.
Is Mom not going to be in there?
Mom, I'm...
My head was spinning.
She's not there. What's going on?
Where's my mother?
I told you room 245 is unoccupied.
I never saw my mother again.
How does that happen? Like,
The symptoms suffered by Rena Dunn's mother pointed to a rare case of West Nile viral encephalitis.
West Nile?
Contagious
But
foot
her
loss
body
of
wouldn't, like,
breathing
disappear.
The hotel manager and the doctor conspired to cover up the entire episode and got rid of her mother's body. Also, they wouldn't lose vital business during their important convention season.
Would they really do that,
Rena
though?
imagine-
Let's try and reconstruct that in my mind. Okay. You know, they check into room 245 after they initially don't have a reservation. Like a wire got crossed or something like that, and, you know, the reservation that she had for 3 months wasn't there. All of a sudden, magically, room 245 becomes available, and they check in, and they get the doctor to see the mother who's sick. He prescribes a medication. She goes to get it, and she leaves it on the counter while she's making change for the cab driver, and she gets back, and the medication's not there. Do I believe it? I don't even know if I can get the story straight. How does that happen? Like, they lose the reservation, they somehow get in there, the medicine's gone, the clerk doesn't know who she is, the doctor doesn't know who she is. Someone's got to be crazy here. It just doesn't sound like something that can happen. Like, how does it happen? That's the only thing that's coming to my mind right now, but it's like, how does it happen? And what's really messing me up here is, you know, I can't think in my mind how this could be true, but I have this feeling, based on how much I've watched this show, that it's going to be. So I really don't know what to guess here. Like, if I do guess true, it's like, I don't have a justification for it. I'm just trying to outsmart the show. You know, I'm coming off a 0 out of 5, and, you know, I don't want another 0 out of 5. Like, I hope I'm not there already, but... Like, maybe you could chalk it up to, like, a bunch of forgetfulness or a bunch of disorganization. Because taking a chance has done some good things for me earlier this season. I'm gonna take a chance. It's true. And don't ask me to justify why I think it's true. I just think the show is playing a trick on me. That's my reasoning. So I got stories number 1, 3, and 5 as true. I got stories 2 and 4 as fiction. Let's see how we did. Hopefully it's better than a 0.
Now let's look back at tonight's stories and find out which ones are inspired by actual events and which ones are totally false. What about the college student who seemed to channel the spirit of a deceased student?
I said true on this one.
Is this a true story?
Is it?
It's a figment of a writer's imagination.
Oh, no. Okay. 0 for 1.
How about the story of the 2-year-old who wrote a message that saved her mother's life?
Fiction on this
Why
one.
did you learn how to...
You think you've heard a story like this before? You might have.
Might have. It's true.
According to our research, a similar story happened in the Southwest in the mid-70s.
0 for 2. Don't do this to me again.
Let's look again at the weatherman who seemed to forecast his own death.
Said true on this one.
And they are going to hit us hard. Stay tuned, I'll have more details later in the newscast.
Was this story true?
Is it?
Afraid not.
No?
It was written to fool you.
0 for 3.
How about the
Okay.
comedian who found his fame and fortune
I'm getting really
after
worried
being
here.
severely injured?
Said fiction on this one.
You can be a sit-down comic.
Did a similar story to this one take place? Could be.
Could
We
be.
made this one up.
Okay. Got that one right. No
Let's
0.
have one more look at the strange story of the woman and the lost hotel reservation.
And I said true on this last one.
here.
Don't know why. Just did.
No, I'm sorry, that room is unoccupied.
What?
Although this story has been updated for our show, it's based on fact.
It's based on
Published
fact.
reports place a similar incident in Paris at the turn of the last century.
So I end up with a 2. Better than a 0. So let's wrap this up. Okay, guys, thank you for tuning into my reaction to Beyond Belief Season 4, Episode 6. Thought I was going to get another 0 for a while there, and thankfully those last 2 saved me. Especially that one that I was like, how could this one possibly be true? But, you know, I guess I've watched enough of the show to think, you know, this is one that's definitely going to be true. Couldn't rationalize it in my mind. It was just but the guess paid off. Not the best score, but a 2 out of 5 is better than a 0 out of 5 I got last time. So that makes my total score for the season 16 out of 30, which I think brought the average down a little bit more. Nonetheless, it's not 2 zeros in a row, and I guess I'm happy about that. But yeah, hopefully can do even better in episode 7. Got this season off to a great start, and it's kind of taken a downturn since then. Hopefully 7 can get me back on the high note. Lucky number 7, let's hope it is. But that'll wait till next time. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Check out my sports vlogging channel. And until next time, this is Jordan saying you can be productive sitting at home on your couch. All you need is a TV, a great catalog, and a vision. This has been Jordan's Vision. Have a good one, guys. Take care, and bye-bye.